Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Life of a Marketer podcast. Today, I'm happy to have Steven on our podcast. He is a marketer himself, and I'm going to just let Steven take it away. Steven, introduce yourself. Tell us about your company. Tell us about what you do, and just give us in a broad stroke what it is that your company is about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my name is Steven Perchikov. My business is Artist Sales Academy, and we help B2B businesses, consulting companies, SaaS companies, staffing and recruiting companies specifically modernize their sales and lead gen.
Mhm.
That's the core of what we do. So we help them leverage different technologies, different strategies, and also provide the people and the support to help them with the blocking and tackling of B2B, which is getting calls on their calendar, finding the right message that takes someone from zero to interest, moving things down the sales process, really the nitty-gritty sort of things that a lot of business owners would prefer not to do or don't know how to do as well or don't have time to do. We figure out ways to streamline those things and also do it for our clients so that they can spend more time doing what they're good at, which is speaking with prospects and helping them with what they help them with.
Okay, awesome. So I'm a SaaS, or let's say I'm a SaaS company, right?
Yeah.
Give me an example, like, and this is a SaaS company, they're trying to get more clients in the door. What specifically, what would you guys probably do for them to get things moving?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you an example. We work with a fintech SaaS company. Recently, they were in the and they're sort of in the natural language processing automation space. Their core technology has a lot of AI stuff, chat bots, specifically geared towards banks, scanning documents, reading documents, these kind of things. So they work with banks, and their tool had like dozens of different features, and they weren't sure what to focus on in order to grow their customer base, essentially.
Mhm.
Up until then, it was mostly referrals. So we did a deep dive into all the value propositions of their business. And what we found is that one specific thing that they did was they helped banks transition from what's called LIBOR to SOFR, or SOFR to LIBOR. I don't remember at this point, but it was a big transition that a lot of banks were going, and it required a lot of documentation, it took many, many hours to update all of their documents and processes to make this switch. And there was a timetable. There was like a year and a half. They had to get it all done. So there was urgency there. So we found, there's urgency there, and that's something that you can help with. Then we did a search in LinkedIn, and we found that all of these banks and many consulting companies, made the big four consulting companies, Accenture, all these companies, they have specialists just for this one thing going on in banks. So we found this like tight pocket, this tight niche of people that they could help. And then we used a little bit of automation to reach out to these people, to connect, to message on LinkedIn and on email, mentioning like that we're checking out your library experience at Bank of America, and I'm in a similar space too. And we've actually developed a technology that helps that process go from weeks and days to hours and minutes. And be happy to show you, we're already working with Chase. So the message is short and pithy, but the strategy and thought process behind it to find out where you can place this very sharp little arrow is really where the skill set was, and then how to leverage it with technology. That's one thing that we've done, and it blew up their calendar, and it led to 7 figures of new sales within 6 months, just from kind of
Wow.
one campaign.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's such a simple thing that you're doing with that. But I think the key, because this is what I find in marketing, that a lot of these B2B companies, they haven't defined their niche. And that makes it so hard to actually be able to do marketing, because you don't know who am I targeting? They all have different language, they have a different way of thinking, they have a different problem. Who am I targeting? Yeah, so I appreciate that a lot, because that's an issue that I have with my clients, is trying to kind of help them figure out what their niche is. What
Yeah.
other? Give me one more example. What's another kind of company that you guys have helped?
Okay. Yeah, the other companies that we often work with are staffing and recruiting companies. We really love them because they're so focused on LinkedIn, and we're focused on LinkedIn as well. We love it as a B2B platform. And many staffing and recruiting companies, especially folks who've been in the industry for a long time have learned a way to get clients that no longer works as well, which is calling, finding more searches this way, calling candidates, all these sorts of things. So when we show them some of the things that we're able to do, it's really, really helps move the needle for them. One of our favorite campaigns to do for staffing and recruiting companies, if they're looking for more searches, is to spend some time list building, going on Indeed, going on LinkedIn, and finding like some specific searches that that would be ideal for them. Like companies that are like, we have one recruiting firm who specializes in structural engineers. Great niche, very specific. So we find companies that are hiring, let's say, structural engineer for bridges or something like that. So we'll find like, the 300, 400 companies that are hiring for this right now. We'll make a list of all the hiring managers and we'll let them know that we have some candidates that would be a great fit for the role. And that's exactly who I place people for. And I have a couple of people that seem like a fit and I'd love to discuss that with you. And we do certain kind of campaigns, just kind of pinging them and touching them on LinkedIn and email. And when you do that for their top 20, 30 job titles, and you just kind of have it on autopilot, these are the kinds of things that works. This is the big philosophy of our agency consultancy is this idea of scalable personalization. So it's all about finding a way to make messages and outreach sound as if it was handwritten. It's the message you would have sent anyway, just doing some business development. But you automate it by thinking a lot beforehand around where all the pieces of the puzzle go so that you can scale yourself, you can scale your outreach.
Very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing that with us. We really appreciate it. So, Steven, tell me a little bit, what's the best thing about working in the marketing industry for you?
Yeah, my favorite part about it is the clients that we work with, the fact that we really get to help them with the problems that they have, and it's fun, it's creative, and we're so close to some of the biggest challenges that they face, right? Like we're at the forefront of their business thriving, right? It's like, can we get their message out there in such a way that it resonates with their audience and creates the opportunities that they need to succeed? So being so close to what matters most in their business is it's a nice feeling. It's rewarding.
Awesome. All right. Very good. So next question, what sort of advice do you offer to people that are in the marketing industry right now?
The marketing industry is so big, right? There's so much in the marketing industry, but I'd say like, if you just look at marketing in general, it's all trending towards full stack marketers, you can say, right? Like just people that understand not just the graphic designers and brand folks, but are able to tie it to data and also know a little bit about ads and a little bit about coding, all of these sorts of things. People are looking for folks who can bridge all of these sorts of things together. Of course, it matters where you are in the marketing spectrum, whether you're going a high tech startup or, working at a balloon company, like selling greeting cards. It's different, right? It depends. But I think more and more, it's leaning towards beyond just the core discipline of marketing and incorporating a lot of other disciplines like coding, like data analytics to help their clients more, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. So what other successful people in marketing like yourself do you want to acknowledge that maybe we should have on this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. One gentleman who really helped me in the beginning was a gentleman by the name of Nick Peterson. Really, really smart guy, really knowledgeable about retention and customer retention. That's sort of his specialty, customers for life. He's got a really good way around building a following around himself that I think a lot of people can learn something from.
All right. Awesome. We'll have to hit him up, see if he's available to go on our podcast. All right. So for the just one final question, just for fun, tell me the oldest technology that you remember using.
The oldest technology that I remember using, I don't know. I guess an Atari, a Walkman.
A Walkman. Yeah.
AOL, like the first
AOL.
days of AOL. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was a kid and I was saving up all of my money, to it was like Walkman was like $20 and I had an allowance like $5. So I saved up for several months until I was finally able to get, the Walkman. And
Yeah.
it was the coolest thing ever. You could take the tape and stick it in and
Incredible. It was the first iPod, basically, first iPhone.
yeah, yeah. And then now it's just like you have like everything on the cloud that you could possibly imagine. And it's like $7 a month. You can just listen to whatever you want.
I know. We're spoiled.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, Atari, I had my parents had one of those. It was, Atari's pretty way back where there's they had one sitting somewhere and I started messing with it one day and had a black and white TV
Yeah.
when I was a little
Pong,
kid.
Pitfall, right?
Yeah, you had all those Frogger and all those games.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Atari was before my time too, but I do know I did play it before as a kid. Like it didn't like just come out when I was a kid. Nintendo came out when I was a kid. I got like a Nintendo, that was like the new thing. But the oldest thing I played was probably the Atari.
Yeah, I was telling my daughters because they have the Nintendo Switch and it's like that big, and and then you can plug it into the TV. And I was telling them about the concept of the Atari, and I showed them some games, and then I was, we tell them about tapes and stuff like that. It's like we live in a different world now, and it's only been 30, 40 years since that stuff was.
Yeah. Let's see where the next 30, 40 years takes us, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it should be interesting. It's an interesting time to live in for sure. Definitely. All right, awesome. Well, Steven, is there anything else you want to add on our podcast that you'd like to tell our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate everybody listening. And if anyone wants more information, we have more articles and videos on artofsalesacademy.com. And if anyone wants to speak with me or someone on my team directly, there's a schedule button there that you can just schedule a call from artofsalesacademy.com or just email me at steven@artofsalesacademy.com. So happy to connect with your audience. So thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll be sure to put in the description Steven's website. So if you want to go and click on it and take a look at what he's got and have a chat with him, or if you've got any questions for him, I'm sure you can find him on LinkedIn as well. So we'll try to also include his profile there. This has been the Life of a Marketer podcast. We stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. On across social media. You can also find it released via YouTube. You can get on, if you so request, you can also get on our email list. So we send it out via email. And give me some likes and subscribe. And so the algorithm will be kind to us. We want as many people to be able to consume this podcast as possible. And thanks for watching today.
Awesome.